Welcome to the Tile the World channel. Hey, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and click that like button so you don't miss any of our expert insights. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that, trips up even the pros. Extruded tile. It's a material that's known for being incredibly tough, but it also comes with one big nagging question. Does that sound familiar? I bet it does. You've picked out this gorgeous rustic tile, but when you do the dry lay, the lines just aren't perfectly straight, and suddenly your contractor's on the phone talking about a defective product. This is probably one of the most common headaches we see out there, and it all boils down to a simple misunderstanding of what this stuff actually is. So, what's the real story? Is this a manufacturing flaw you need to send back? Or is it actually part of the tile's character, something that makes it special? Well, to get to the bottom of it, we've got to look at how this tile is made. And trust me, the answer is probably not what you're expecting. Now, before we get all technical and geeky about it, I want you to do something for me. Think way back to when you were a kid. Because the key to understanding this super durable, high-performance material, it's actually hiding in a toy almost all of us have played with. You got it, the Play-Doh Fun Factory. Remember that? You'd load in a lump of dough, you'd push down on that lever, and you'd squeeze out this long, continuous string of a star shape or a spaghetti noodle. At its heart, that is almost exactly how extruded porcelain tile gets made. So what makes this so different? Well, extruded tile starts as a wet, kind of gooey clay mixture, not a dry powder like other tiles. And just like that Play-Doh, it's forced through a shaped opening, we call it a die, and it comes out as a long ribbon. Then it's cut into individual tiles and fired in a kiln at insane temperatures. And that whole process is what gives the tile both its incredible strength and its unique personality.
All right, so let's break down the anatomy of this stuff. Let's really see why that variation isn't a mistake. It's actually part of the design. Okay, so you can really see the two different worlds of porcelain right here. On one side, you've got extruded. It's made from wet clay, and it gives you that awesome rustic, textured look. It's usually a bit thicker, and you can get some really cool, complex shapes. Then you have pressed tile. That's made from dry powder, and it's what gives you that super smooth, perfectly uniform look with those razor-sharp, rectified edges. They are two completely different beasts.
So why the wiggles? Why the variation? Well, for starters, wet clay is just way less predictable than dry powder. And then when it goes into a kiln that's literally hotter than a volcano, it dries and it shrinks, and that shrinkage is never perfectly even. Plus, if you're trying to push out these intricate star shapes or hexagons, getting surgical precision is, well, it's almost impossible. You gotta think of it less like something rolling off a giant assembly line and more like a handcrafted piece. Okay, so now we know why it varies. But that brings us to the most important part. How in the world do you install it correctly? Because listen, the right technique is what turns a potential problem into a stunningly beautiful finish. First things first, let's just set the expectation right here. A size difference between tiles of 1 to 2 millimeters, that is completely normal. It's not a defect. It is, as the manufacturers say, within norm and allowance. Just knowing this one little fact is going to be the key to managing your own expectations and your clients. So, how do you deal with that variation? Simple. A wider grout joint. The absolute minimum you should be using is 3/16 of an inch. That little bit of extra space is what eats up those small differences between the tiles and makes the whole floor look unified and beautiful. And this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's literally the secret to getting a pro result. Oh, and by the way, if you want more awesome tile and stone tips like this, you should definitely follow Craig on Instagram at TileNerdArmy. So let's lock in the 3 keys to success. Number 1, like we just said, you have to embrace that wider grout joint. It is your best friend on this job. Number 2, use a bigger trowel than you normally would. Why? Because that gives you a thicker bed of mortar underneath, which lets you make these tiny little adjustments to keep the faces of the tiles flush. And number 3, adjust as you go. This is more art than science. A good installer is going to tweak and shift the tiles as they work, not just rigidly rely on spacers. And this quote right here from a manufacturer is so important. I know a dry lay of extruded tile can look a little scary. It can look messy, uneven, and it can cause that moment of panic. But you have to trust the process. Once it's set and properly grouted, all those little variations just blend together. They create this incredible, cohesive, textured surface. The grout really does change everything. So, we've gone from seeing a problem to finding a solution. Now let's kind of shift our whole mindset for a second and see why this imperfect perfection is actually this tile's greatest strength. Let's not forget why you choose this material in the first place. All that character comes with some serious muscle. That extrusion process makes a tile that is so dense and durable, it's practically indestructible. It's resistant to stains, chemicals, frost, you name it. Its mechanical strength is off the charts, which makes it perfect for the toughest jobs. We're talking heavy traffic floors, outdoor patios, even swimming pools. So here it is. This is your takeaway checklist, your cheat sheet. Number 1, recognize and embrace that rustic, handcrafted look. Number 2, expect and more importantly, plan for that 1 to 2 millimeter size variation. Number 3, use a 3/16 inch or wider grout joint. That one's non-negotiable. 4, use a bigger trowel so you have room to make adjustments. And finally, number 5, manage your client's expectations from day one. Explain that its unique character is what makes it so special. And all of this kind of leaves us with one last question to think about, doesn't it? In a world that's obsessed with mass-produced perfection, is perfect uniformity always the goal? Or is there a deeper, more authentic beauty in materials that actually show the mark of how they were made? It's something to think about the next time you're looking for a finish with some real soul. And hey, if you are, you can find all kinds of unique materials just like these at tilebar.com.